Okay, you guys. So I was out of town for about a week and I just got back yesterday. While I was out of town, I managed to hit 100 subs. So that was exciting. The problem is, I wasn't in a position to be able to do any sort of video about it. I couldn't even do any reaction videos because I just didn't have the setup that I felt was proper. So I had filmed some stuff before we went so that I would have enough that I could upload something every day. And then this happened while I was gone. And I was trying to think of what I would do or say about it. And I had posted a video a while back about, maybe we could do I could do like a Q&A or something. Not that I'm really all that interesting as far as that sort of thing, but I can't think of anything else really. I want to mark the occasion and show my gratitude to everyone who has subscribed to me and has interacted with me, and we've talked about great movies, stories. I really enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun, as I've said before, but I couldn't think of really anything to do. I did have a question on my Q&A, which I will get to. But I was thinking that maybe what I would do is use this opportunity to sort of maybe create an intro video for my channel, because I have not done that. I've had this channel since, I've had the channel for about a year or so, but I didn't really start actively posting content until mid-July-ish of this year. So I don't have an intro video, and I know that some people do, and I've heard it's a really good idea to do that. So maybe that's what I'm going to do with this as well. Just sort of a little intro sort of thing about my channel and the stuff that interests me, and that will also tie into the question that I was asked. It was a question that Storm Shadow posted up on the previous video that I had made. He asked me, how did you get into movies and what's your favorite genre? Well, I'm going to talk off the top of my head like I always do. I didn't write anything out. I really generally don't ever do that because I don't have time. But then I feel like I waste more time because I ramble. Anyway, whatever. So how did I get into movies? Well, I've mentioned before in my videos that I grew up without a TV. And so my entertainment, and I was an only child for several years before my brothers were born. And my entertainment was, myself. I had to entertain myself. So I would do things, I had toys, obviously, I would play with, but comic books that I would read. I did enjoy comic books, but one of my main sources of entertainment was reading. I loved to read. Read. Oh my goodness, you guys. I loved it. That was where I could go to different places in my head and have adventures and scary times, and it was just so much fun. And I always wanted to write because I liked writing stories. I did that a lot in school. I got some rewards for writing, and then I ended up going off to college, and that sort of killed the writing sort of dream I had, because I got so sick of writing in school essays and all that. Anyway, I did end up later writing a full-length novel, which I have not published because I just have been so busy over the past few years. I was helping my brother edit and publish his first 2 books, which he got around to doing before I even finished mine or did mine. It's kind of funny how that worked out. But anyway, so I haven't been able to finish. I'm still in the revision process of my book, but it's been going on for like 10 years. And I don't know if or when I'll ever get around to finishing it. I hope so, maybe someday, but sometimes I'm just too mentally drained to work on it. But I feel like maybe I should try to push myself to do that. Anyway, that was a tangent, but it ties into just stories. I love stories. I love good stories. I love, who doesn't love a well-written story? I even don't mind stories that aren't the best, but if they entertain me, I really enjoy that. So since I grew up without a TV, and my main source of entertainment was books. that just, I feel like that created a very just well-established foundation of enjoyment of stories and storytelling. So when I started to, when I was exposed to TV, I was exposed to TV as a kid, different family members had TV. And so I would, see things like that. But it would always captivated me to be able to watch a story being acted out on the screen. And that really hasn't changed too much for me. I've always enjoyed motion picture stories, not necessarily like, when I say motion picture, I'm not referring specifically to big screen movies, though I know that that's what that typically is supposed to mean. I just mean any sort of story that is acted out on the screen with people or in animation or whatever. So that's kind of, that's how I got into it. It's basically the building blocks for that was just my love of stories, which started off with books because I didn't have TV. I didn't really have any access to movies as a kid. I was exposed to some things that really scared me a lot as a child, because when you grow up without a TV and then you are around scary type stories, you take that literally. So Halloween really scarred me as a kid when I was first introduced to it. But consequently, it has ended up being my favorite horror movie of all time. I absolutely love it, even though he still gives me nightmares, Michael Myers, which everybody knows. If anybody knows me, they know that. So anyway, as far as what's my favorite genre, well, I sort of instinctively want to say horror, because I really just love to play horror movies all the time while I'm working, and I can sort of, if it's done in a certain way, I can sort of tell what's happening in the story without having to put my full attention on it. But I would say it's one of my favorite genres, but I'm not sure that I can say it's my absolute favorite genre. I think I sort of am more geared toward, I don't know, I wish there was a genre that could encapsulate like mystery, thriller, action, adventure, that sort of thing. Like, I like thriller type action sort of movies. Not necessarily action that's nonstop. That gets a little bit tiring to me after a while. But if it's woven together really good, it flows really well. Like Terminator 2 is my favorite movie of all time, as I've said before. And that's got such a perfect mix of pretty much everything that I really like in a story. And it's classified as, I guess, like an action sci-fi, I don't know, sci-fi, action, whatever, time travel. I don't know. But anyway, I guess my favorite is something like thriller. I guess you could say thriller. I like things that really put me on edge, and I like it when an action scene is put together so wonderfully that you could watch it over and over and over and over again. So I guess something like that would be my favorite. That's not really a very clear answer to the question, I realize that, but there are so many different types of movies that I like in different genres that it's really hard for me to say that's my absolute favorite genre. I can tell you what's typically not my favorite genre, which I have before. I've mentioned things like just regular dramas. They're not generally something I, would necessarily be interested to see. Comedies, especially goofball comedies like Dumb and Dumber, I really don't like movies like that very much. So, but I like others. I like sci-fi, I like fantasy, I like mystery, thriller, horror, action, adventure. And there is no one word that can encapsulate all of those. But I'm not really sure that I can specifically pick one in particular that's my absolute favorite. So that was a roundabout way of sort of trying to answer the question, but I don't think I did a very good job. Anyway, so This, I guess, serves as sort of a channel intro video. I do this because I love stories. I love being able to talk about stories with people. And I wanted to expand the scope of that beyond my little personal circle of people that I talk about it with here in the real, like real life, I guess, or offline life. And this was the best way that I could think of. This was the best outlet for me to do that, and so that's why I started doing it, and I've really had a lot of fun. And as far as what I do offline, I've touched on this before multiple times, but my work involves audiobooks, which goes right back to the thing I was talking about before, my love of stories. I'm an audiobook proofer, and I really enjoy being able to listen to the different performances from the people in our little company, and being able to, I listen to the stories, I listen to their performances, I mark when I feel like there's something that needs to maybe be done a little differently performance-wise, and of course I mark any sort of textual, like text errors that they make, maybe if they've read something wrong, things like that. And so that's really primarily what I do. That's my job, and I've been doing it for about, oh my goodness, 3 years now. It's been 3 years. As far as like, actual full-time type, this is what I do all the time. This consumes my day when I'm not making reaction videos or trying to sort of do stuff around the house, which I don't have much time for. Anyway, so that's, as far as that goes, my offline life, that's pretty much it. It's not super exciting, but it does revolve around the thing that I really love and enjoy, which is stories. It all comes back to stories, you guys, for me. So I have a great appreciation for a well-written story, and that's the whole point of this channel and talking about it with people, is because there is just no shortage of great material out there to enjoy and to analyze, to talk about with other people, to review, to compliment, to criticize, critique, whatever. There's so much of it out there, and I really do. I'd like to also check out what other people think about it, as far as other channels, what people think about it on YouTube, different review channels and stuff. And I like to hear their perspective. Sometimes they put like a different little spin or twist to it that I didn't think about, and then that helps me to appreciate or enjoy a particular story even more. It just adds a little bit more depth to it that I didn't really realize or think about. So yeah, the foundation of all this is stories, and well-written stories, and that's what I like, and that's why I'm doing this, and I hope to be able to continue doing this as long as I can. And I can't think of really anything else to add to this. It's been another rambly video. I'll probably have to edit some stuff out, but I wanted to at least get this done as soon as I could before I just kind of let the time go by being busy with other stuff and didn't get it done like I've been wanting to do. So that is it for this one, you guys, and I'm going to sign off for now. Bye.